Well, Abed Karim is from the Al-Imdaad Foundation, and that's an NGO that is on the ground. So let's see if we can chat to him. Mr. Karim, Abed Karim, tell us where you are and what you're seeing on the ground today.
Good afternoon to you and your listeners, and thank you for having the Al-Imdaad Foundation to give a quick update. This morning, the Al-Imdaad Foundation teams have arrived in Durban after the weekend rains, and what we found was that there was a need for more interventions and help for the new victims who were flooded out and affected by the heavy rains. This morning, our teams were in Inanda area, and we were coordinated via the disaster management of the metro, and we went out to Inanda and Section C and did distributions of blankets, mattresses, food parcels, etc. What has come out very clearly after the rains that had taken place this weekend, that those who were trying to get back on their feet, hopefully, had been affected again, and it brought them back again to, square one, where they have to be helped out again. So we were very fortunate today that we were accompanied by the National Minister of Kokta, Umama Zuma, and also the MEC for Social Development in KwaZulu-Natal, Umama Ukoza, and we had done these distributions in what we call Inanda. Also tomorrow, the Al-Imdaad Foundation teams are being sent out to different areas where there are new victims of this flood. And we are going to be assisting, and one need that's coming out a lot is mattresses, blankets, and hygiene packs for people that have now been put into the halls, and there are new halls that have been established. Yeah. So the Al-Imdaad Foundation also continues.
Have you made anyone affected twice? Because you've mentioned some areas have been hit twice now, although there are some areas that weren't affected and some new areas. Have you met anyone today who was just getting things together, and then the deluge came again?
Yes, I met a senior citizen, and whilst we were assisting her with interventions, and she said to us, I just trying to get myself back to normal, and the rains have come again. And she said, God knows best as to why, this is happening. And she was very, tearful and so forth. And we had to, speak to her and say, look, this is something that, is from God, and we need to assist each other and work together. So tomorrow, we are going out to areas where people have been affected again, and also new persons who have been affected. And via disaster management of the metro, the Al-Imdaad Foundation is going out there to assist, especially, like I said earlier on, the need for mattresses, the need for blankets, the need for hygiene packs, because people are based or housed rather in halls in areas near to them.
Yeah, sure. What a sad situation. What is it like on the roads where you are and driving around today? Because we hear again, bridges have been washed away, and it can be a dangerous situation even when it's not raining for people on the roads.
Yes, this morning, when we were going out through these areas, you could just see there are holes on the road. And you can see washed away, gutters. You can see so much of infrastructure damage that you just keep on seeing the same thing all the time, and new ones have come up with the weekend rain. Yes, there are a lot of infrastructure damages. There's a lot of bridges that we saw that are, needing attention, and likewise, especially the roads and the access to people's homes, the access to the areas. Needs a lot of help. Yeah. And that is one in terms of infrastructure. But when it comes to the community, we also want to say that there are lots of NGOs, there are lots of church groups, religious organization, temple organization, mosque organization, civil society. Today, ma'am, we went out with the African Religious Traditional Council Leaders Association, and we went out today to go and assist these communities. And what we're finding is the hopelessness of people who are there and say, we've gone over 30 days now, and we are still in these halls, and we hope to get back home, and here came the rain again, which is not in our hands. But we pray to the Almighty to make ease for every one of them, and grant, if He does, beneficial rain to all of us, and let these victims of the flood stand up on their feet and get back. And as the NGO sector, as civil society, government, all of us have to put our hands together and assist our community members. Because myself coming from Ladysmith, where we've been through the floods, it doesn't take 10 days or 15 days to get back on your feet. Believe me, personally, I've been over 16 floods, and I can tell you it takes a long time. And if you look at the Durban scenario, and if you're hands-on here on the ground, you will see devastation. People don't even have a home to go in. There is no shelter. Where do you start from? You don't even have a bed. You don't even have a blanket, and the situation is so, compromising. But as the NGO sector and all of us and Ubuntu working in place, is that what we are saying is that let's try and make life a little bit more comfortable for our communities, because today is them, tomorrow it could be us, and we ask the Almighty to protect one and all of us. And also at the same time...
Thank you for what you're doing. I just want to throw in a final question, because you spoke about people who've been in halls since last month's flooding, and they haven't been able to go back home. And of course now the situation is even more difficult. How much help are they receiving? How great is the need? Are they receiving meals every day? Is government and NGOs working together well? What have you seen about those living conditions?
One thing I can tell you, being over here for the last 3 to 4 weeks as the Al-Imdaad Foundation, in partnership with all the other NGOs, that there is a coordination, there is help working together. But one thing that is very clear, food is one of the biggest needs at the moment, because remember, you have people in the morning, they need their breakfast. Then you have school-going children. You got the elderly, you got the sick, you got the infirm, you got the disabled. All these people have needs of their food, the daily food. And at the same time, all the NGO sector, with social development, SASA, all of them I know, because we are working with the Metro Disaster and we are coordinated via them, that there is a very good working program between all of us, and trying to work in the different sections and to help the different areas. So there is hopefully a balanced rollout of interventions and help. But food is going to be an ongoing need as long as the people are in the hall. I would think that the provincial government and national government is working on a housing program, hopefully, and try to get these people out of these halls as soon as possible, so they could start, working and rebuilding their lives. But in long term, I can see another 30 days or so to continue helping these communities. And the coordination between the NGO sector is quite good, and many of them are continuing, and we applaud them, and may God bless one and all of them.
Indeed, and good to hear that. Thank you so much. That was Abed Karim from the Al-Imdaad Foundation, an NGO working on the ground.